Ramadan is in Islam is the ninth month of the Muslim calendar and the holy month of fasting. It begins and ends with the appearance of the crescent moon. Because the Muslim calendar year is shorter than the Gregorian calendar year, Ramadan begins 10 to 12 days earlier each year, allowing it to fall in every season throughout a 33-year cycle. Islamic tradition states that it was during Ramadan and on the night of power, commemorated on one of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, usually the 27th night, that God revealed to the Prophet Muhammad the Quran, Islam's holy book, as a guidance for the people. For Muslims, Ramadan is a period of introspection, communal prayer in the mosque, and reading of the Quran. God forgives the past sins of those who observe the holy month with fasting, prayer, and faith intention. Ramadan, however, is a less period of atonement than it was at a time for Muslims to practice self-restraint. In keeping with Spam, one of the pillars of Islam, the 5 basic tenets of the Muslim religion, although Swam is most commonly understood as the obligation to fast during Ramadan, it is more broadly interpreted as the obligation to refrain between dawn and dusk from food, drink, sexual activities, and all forms of immoral behavior, including impure or unkind thoughts. Thus, false words or bad deeds or intentions are destructive of a fast as eating or drinking. After sunset prayer, Muslims gather in their homes or mosques to break their fast with a meal called iftar that is often shared with friends and extended family. The iftar usually begins with dates, as well as the custom of Muhammad, or approximate, and water or sweetened milk. There are additional prayers offered at night called the Tohara prayers, preferably performed in congregation at the mosque. During these prayers, the entire Quran may be recited over the course of the month of Ramadan. To accommodate such acts of worship in the evening, work hours are adjusted during the day and sometimes reduced in Muslim-majority countries. The Quran indicates that eating and drinking are permissible only until the white thread of light becomes distinguishable from the dark thread of night at dawn. Thus, Muslims in some communities sound drums or ring bells in the pre-dawn hours to remind others that it is time for the meal before dawn, called shahar. Swarm can be invalidated by eating or drinking at the wrong time. but the lost day can be made up with an extra day of fasting. For anyone who becomes ill during the month, or for whom travel is required, extra fasting days may be substituted after Ramadan ends. Volunteering, performing righteous works, or feeding the poor can be subsequented for fasting if necessary. Able-bodied adults and older children fast during the daylight hours from dawn to dusk. Pregnant or nursing women, children, the old, the weak, travelers on long journeys, and the mentally ill are all exempt from the requirement of fasting. The end of Ramadan fast is celebrated as Eid al-Fitr, or the Feast of Fast Breaking, which is one of the two major religious holidays of Muslim calendar. The other is Eid al-Adha, marks the end of the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca that all Muslims are exempt to perform at least once in their life, if they are financially and physically able. In some communities, Eid al-Fitr is quite elaborate. Children wear new clothes, special pastries are baked, gifts are exchanged, and graves of relatives are visited. And people gather for family meals and to pray at mosques. And with that, I'll see you all in the next one.